So what I'm making right here is caldereta. Actually, you can call it bacareta. Caldereta is supposed to be made with goat. This is made with beef. This is the actual Filipino version of the beef stew. Let's cook.
I know I cannot see it through. I got my head on straight so you can pass the blues. Disco biscuits in my little tube.
One slice down the middle. That's it on these two. And then I'm gonna cut it really thin this way. The reason for it being thin is you want this to be able to dissolve in the sabaw. So you don't want to have these huge chunks of onion and really thin slices here against the grain. Makes it dissolve into the sabaw.
I just can't get over this. Bar upstairs, so I'm gonna take this bar and throw it off the edge. And all I'll ever be is riding next to me, exploding on my screen, sunburn down on me. And I hope that you watch this, I hope that you will. I hope you feel better about these cards in there.
So you want your pan heated up to about a medium heat. Add a little bit of oil. You don't want it too high, you don't want it too soft, about a medium heat. And now I just take each piece of meat, I want to crowd the pan. And you've seen me do this a dozen times, or maybe 3 or 4 times, but whatever. And I'm browning the meat. I'm getting a sear on each side of the meat. And what will happen, it'll create a fond at the bottom. And that's what's going to be all the flavor for the sabaw. So I just take about 1 or 2 minutes on each side, get some browning on it, remove it. Look at the meats. Look at the meats flavors down there. Get that sear going. All right, let's just take all the meat out for now. Put it to the side. Look at that fond, Alan. Look at that fond. That fond. Let's add a little bit of oil to that. Let's throw those onions in. I know it seems like a lot. It seems like a lot of onions. But those onions kind of deglaze that. See that? It's picking up some of the fond. Not all of it, some of it. And again, I cut these thin and I cut them against the grain so they're going to dissolve. So it won't feel like you have a ton of onions in the sabaw. There'll be some. Man, already, you can smell that. That's some flavor right there. You can smell those onions. Doesn't have to cook all the way through. Picking up some of those flavors, some of that fond. Boom, goes the garlic and chili. Put that garlic and chili in there. Get some flavor. Ooh, those chili. That chili. All right, so tomato paste. I put it in here after the garlic heats up a little bit. Ooh, those chilies are strong. You want it to cook out a little bit, so I get about, ooh, shoot. What is that, about a tablespoon? Like a heaping tablespoon of tomato paste. There. All right, cook it out just a little bit, mix it in. Takes out some of that sharpness of the tomato paste. Give this about a minute. Now normally, this is where I deglaze the pan with red wine or something like that if I was cooking American style or French style beef stew. Now I deglaze it a little bit with some beef broth. Look at that. Again, you can deglaze it with water. Look at that. Just some beef broth. Get that pan deglazed, get all that stuff off of there. That's all flavor. Look at that rich flavor that's in there. Building that flavor. Ooh, man. That's flavor coming. That's flavor town, Alan. Look at that. All right. I put about about half a cup maybe, to deglaze and get all these flavors to mesh. So you got that garlic, the chili, the tomato paste, all meshing right there. And now let's put this meat back in here with all the juices, right? With all the juices. All right, look at that. You know that's the start of something beautiful right there, right? Oh, but we ain't done. This is just the base. We ain't done. All right, now we add sauce. Tomato sauce. So that's your base tomato flavor for this soup. All right. And now, like if you don't have beef stock, like I have right here, beef stock, use water and a beef bouillon cube. A little beef bouillon cube works just fine. But what I do is I'm gonna submerge this. This is more of a stew. So if I'm making a frittata, I'm just adding a little bit at a time because I'm trying to watch the sabal levels because I have a certain technique for that, and you'll see that. It's gonna be an upcoming video. But just like my nilaga, I'll put the link in the description right here for the nilaga. Just like in nilaga, this is one of those, you get all the ingredients in there and you kind of set it and forget it for a little bit. So I'm gonna cover this up so it's stewed so that I'm not gonna put it an inch over. I'm just gonna make sure that every single piece of the meat is underneath. The bay leaves, don't forget. Don't forget to put your bay leaves in either. All right, look at that. So basically, this is 3.5 cups. There you go, I just put all the stock in. Let's just call it 3.5 cups. All right? It's your responsibility to make sure you're checking on the water levels. This, just like anything else, you never know how strong your stove is or what have you. The water levels can reduce, and you don't want it to be too syrupy. You still want a soup, a sabal, a broth when it comes to this, right? All right, and now we wait. Now we wait for it to boil, and then we wait. It's starting to boil. All right, now we're gonna tuck this bad boy in for a little bit here. Cover it up. And let's wait about an hour and a half and double check. You know, it's low heat. I'm turning it down to medium-low heat. Look at that, look at that. Nice and thick. That 2 extra cups of water was just right. The meat is nice and tender now. Oh yeah, it's tender. That's nice and tender. I don't want to cut them all in half, but it'll still get even more tender. So now I'm just gonna put my potatoes in. I'll put my potatoes and carrots in because they're probably cook about the same time, same amount. Another thing I add at this time, a nice chunk of that liver spread right there. That's more than enough. That will thicken that sauce even more than it is right now. And it'll give it, caldereta, that distinct flavor you're looking for. Now let's cover this up for another 10-15 minutes. Let's just 10 minutes to let these potatoes cook, these carrots cook. Then we'll add our last couple ingredients. 10 minutes in with the potatoes put in. Now it's time to let's put the bell peppers. Let's put some of them peas in there. About a 1/4 cup of frozen peas. That might be too much, but oh well. And I know you can put soy sauce, you can put whatever. I just like the flavor of patis. So does my wife. So no matter what, if it's Filipino food, we're probably gonna put some patis on it. There you go, that's about 2 tablespoons. Let's cover it up for another 10 minutes and see what happens. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Probably 1/8 of a cup of brown sugar just to liven up the flavor just a little bit. Now just make sure that the potatoes are tender, that the carrots are tender, and I think we're ready to eat. That is deliciousness. We are done. You see this sauce right here? See how the sauce just drips? That thick sauce like that. That is just delicious.